Hi everyone, it's me, the BIgFriendlyWarGamer again, doing another one of my weekly sim rambles. Yeah, so I'm just going to get on and paint, because I've been painting for a little while my camera was charging, so I'm just going to, I do what I normally do. So on my desk this week we have this Cowlord, who, before we do this, let me just turn the screen around on the camera so I can see what I'm doing. So we have this Cowlord, who I've been working on for a little while now. The lighting's a bit off, but it should be okay. All I've got to finish is his power sword, which is right here. Yeah, I'm working on that at the moment. We've got 5 Cow Space Marines, which are ready to go on their paint holders. My paint holders. So we're going to stick them 5 there. We've got all their backpacks and weapons, which we're going to kind of get out of the way for now. We don't need them. We've got another 5 Chaos Marines up here as well. There's various other stuff. We're still at the drop pod. I haven't cleaned it yet. I will clean it soon. And we're just going to kind of get stuck into painting, because why not? So we're going to grab some non oil, because I need to shade this red down. So the past week's been the same as always, more or less. Working, wargaming, that kind of thing. I found out one of the guys I work with is actually does the hobby as well, although he's kind of been out of it for a while. So that's pretty cool. And we got talking about it a little bit on Saturday night, so that was pretty good. And yeah, I started a new thing. It's another Games Workshop game. It's called Age of Sigmar Champions. It's a trading card game, which isn't normally my thing, but I thought I'd give it a go. It's fairly cheap to get into, so it's not a big money waster if it turns out I'm not interested. So yeah, I gave that a go. Haven't played a game of it yet. I've just started collecting it, so it's a bit of fun. Now we're going to go for a bit of Genestealer Purple on his power sword. This should more or less finish the power sword. I'm going to give it a glaze with Druchii Violet afterwards. Really thin down glaze. But yeah, you'll see this in a minute. Well, maybe, because it might not show up on camera very well, but anyway. So yeah, so work was quite hard this week, but again, I only worked 2 days, so how hard can it be for 2 days work, you know? And at the club last night I played I did something which I don't normally do, and I played a beginner game. Not that I don't normally do that. I've helped people learn 40k for a few years now, but I did it the wrong way, and I kind of killed their army, which isn't normally what I would do in a beginner game. But it was one of them sessions where, like, even when I was playing Blood Bowl, I played Blood Bowl afterwards as well, by the way. My dice rolling was so stupidly hot yesterday. There was nothing I could have done about it. I could have taken probably the weakest army. I would have been making my saves. So I'm sorry to the guys who I absolutely spanked, which one of them included my nephew. It was his first time at our club. Totally not the way to actually teach your nephew how to play the game, by absolutely spanking his army, but it's okay. I think he understands. This is the thing with wargaming. Is when you get those dice and they're so hot that what can you do? it's impossible, you know. So it was, like I said, I played 40k, and it was Necrons and Blood Angels against my Harlequins. Now, I was reluctant to take Harlequins in the beginner game, but things got a bit mixed up, and I kind of had to. Could have just kept it at Necrons and Blood Angels, I suppose, but I wanted to give Charlie a taste of of having an army to play. Charlie's my nephew. And it all went kind of a bit pear-shaped, which was a bit disappointing. I didn't mean it to go like that, and I think they understood that. And then, like I said, Blood Bowl afterwards, I don't need more shaking. Blood Bowl afterwards, I won 3-1, and I seriously injured 4 of his players. Wow, that's really not good. I'm gonna have to right. So this is changing the subject totally. As you can see, my shelf of other paints. My white stack of red has kind of dried up a bit. So what we're going to do is we got this. This is Islamiyah Medium. It's paint with no colour. It sounds weird, but it is what it is. So this has dried up a bit much, and it needs to have a bit of need to be thinned down a little bit. So just that little bit. Don't need any more than that. I also need to. You have to excuse me, I'm a bit not with it today. Let's grab some tissue. So I'm going to make a mess. Sometimes you get clogged up paints, and that's what this has done. Oop. So basically I just get the clog and I take it out like that. A bit more. So you see all that? That's all gunk, dried up gunk. So what we're going to do is we're going to just fold it in some tissue, and we're going to stick it in the bin. So like that. So now the Islamiyah Medium's in there. We'll mix with the paint, thin it down a little bit. As you can hear it, you might be able to hear it's liquid again. But you got to mix this a little bit, and we have good paint again. So yeah, so Blood Bowl later on, I played against the human team with my Chaos team. Now, my Chaos team are very much on the brink of becoming good. I've got a couple of Beastmen now who have upgrades. I have a Chaos Warrior who's got an upgrade. And literally, if I have one more good game, I could have 4 or 5 other players upgrade. So, and I've had some medium luck so far in my other 2 games that I played, but yesterday all of the luck come to me. I mean, his ogre boneheaded for most of the first half. If you don't know Blood Bowl, bonehead is basically when you've got a big guy like a ogre or a minotaur. They have negative rules that can stop them doing anything. They're like bonehead, wild animal, that kind of thing. And it's a very negative thing. It can basically make your guy just stand there and do nothing for a whole turn. So it's quite a negative thing, and he boneheaded a lot with his ogre. There's literally, it wasn't my fault. There's nothing I could do about it. I was reminding him that he had to do that rule. And it used to be a thing where when a big guy upgraded, you could remove a negative, but you can't anymore. So they're always going to have bonehead. An idea could be to get something like a leader or pro, so it gives him a reroll. But yeah, it's not my team to actually dictate to, so yeah, that's what happened. And when he boneheads, he stands there and he is he just fills a square basically. He doesn't contribute anything to the actual match. I'm just painting the red in the Cowlord's eyes. All Cowlords have got red eyes, haven't they? So what we're going to do now, we're going to grab some glue. I'm quite aware that when I do these painting videos, you don't really see the end result. So this Cowlord is very, very close to actually being finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some glue, stick his his power sword on even, and he's more or less finished. So this is the glue I use. It's industrial grade super glue, and yeah, it's super glue. I use super glue for everything, even plastic models. I don't like poly cement, it just doesn't do the job for me. So we're going to take this out of the blue tack like that. There's still a little bit more to do on the sword, but it's the bit that was in the blue tack, so it's fine. And we actually need to, because this is a part of him that broke off a little while ago, so I need to shave the contact point a little bit of the glue, of the paint, and the old connector, just like that. It's just with a modelling knife, and we're going to glue this power sword on. Like I said, I've got a little bit more I want to do on him once the power sword's on, but it will make it easier to do when he's actually on the model. So this is a bit thick, this glue, so you just got to wait for it, give it time, a little bit of patience, and just apply a little bit of glue there, and we'll stick a little bit on the side as well, and we're just going to glue this in place. It goes like, oh, let's not break it. It just goes like that, and there he is with his power sword. I think it's the light is throwing off the camera, but I'm not too sure. And like I said, there's a little bit more I'm going to do on him, but I'm going to let that super glue dry because I don't want to get any of that on the brushes. In fact, I can actually do that now because it's just his sword that needs it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to water down some Druchii Violet, which I did on his cloak a little while ago. Just get a little bit of it like that. Lots of water it down. This is just going to kind of blend the colours together a bit better on the sword. And this is literally, you're just covering the sword in this. It's a glaze. It just tones the sword down a little bit, brings all the colours together. So let's put the glue back on the lid back on the super glue, and put that away. So just grab some of that with my wash brush, and we're just gonna glaze all over the blade of the sword. And he is more or less done. Like I said, I might do a little bit on the pommel of his sword, but that is my Cowlord more or less finished. So that is model number 6 finished for the month. Puts me on 166 models. So it's painting's going well. This month has been a bit slow to start with. I've been kind of a bit muddled as to what I should be painting. I've been painting lots and bits and pieces of different things, but he can just come out of this grip now, and he's done. So he can go up there and sit looking pretty and judging me while I'm painting my other Chaos Marines. Now these guys, they've already got gold on them, but I'm going to be changing this gold because it's not the gold that I want. So as you can see with the Cowlord, his gold's quite shiny, whereas this guy's gold is more brass than gold. So what we're going to do, we put all 5 of these on here, and you might have seen me do this last week. I can't remember if I actually did or not. on the other 5 Chaos Marines which I completed. Put things back where they should be, and there we go there. So I'm going to do Retributor armor on the gold pieces. I did this on the Chaos Marines last week. I switch water pots, and I actually finished them Chaos Marines, so that's why I'm moving on to the next squad. And this Retributor armor is nearly finished. There's only probably enough for me to get through these guys. They will need two layers for the gold. There's probably enough in here to just finish them, but I have another pot sitting right there, so it's fine. We're going to water this down a bit. Get plenty on the pallet. Should be enough to do 3 at a time. There's still some in there, so I can come back to that pot. I tend to run the pots till literally there's nothing left in them, because I even scraped the little bits out of the bottom, because it's paint. Why would you not? And I have actually a stash of finished pots down there which I should really just sling out, but now I want my 2 brush for this, not my 1. The 1 is a little bit little for base coating. So we got our 2 brush. When I say 2, you'll see it's got, you might be able to see, Windsor Newton 2 on it. So we're going to start with the champion, and we're going to start painting this gold. So yeah, I got a bit sidetracked with that. Actually, let's not do that bit. We're going to leave that. We're going to repaint that black in a little while. So yeah, so Blood Bowl's going well. I've played 3 games with my Chaos team now. Other people have played more, but that's fine. Yeah, they're starting to look quite cool, quite good as a team. I mean, I've had a few setbacks. I had a Chaos Warrior that lost an armour. I had a Beastman that lost an armour. I've had a Beastman that's got dodge and block now. So basically there's very little that can actually knock him down. What else happened? I've got a Chaos Warrior with block, which is like, he could have taken +1 agility, but no, I took block. As much as an agility for Chaos Warrior would be quite funny, I didn't really see the point in it. So yeah, I took block. I need to actually update my team roster because we were running out of time yesterday, so I didn't finish it. And then my opponent, it's not likely that he's going to be down for a little while now, so he didn't update his team roster because he's pretty sure he's going to start again. We're going to start a league in a few weeks, so it's not too much of a problem. So yeah, the high points of Blood Bowl are when you play a league. I mean, the downside of it is you could start a league and get mullered game 1, and then you're behind for a while. To be fair, I lost a player in my first game, and I had another player miss a game. So, you know, I've already been there. But I recovered quite well. I haven't bought any more players yet. I actually had a little mishap with my winnings. Someone ran off with 20k, but that's okay. I'm saving up to buy a Minotaur because as much as big guys can be frustrating, they're also very powerful. And I want the reaction from other people when I have all of them strong players on their front line, and they're going to find it very hard to actually get equal blocks on me. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And it will then limit my Beastman to being almost purely the ball getters, But to be honest, they need to be that anyway, so it's fine. And yeah, the idea is we're going to play 2 months of a league, and then the top 4 players in that league are going to get entered into a cup, and there will be benefits for winning the cup for the next league, because your team doesn't just carry over. You have to buy back players and stuff like that. So, and of course, if you win things, then you get more money to spend on more players, and so on and so on. So it encourages people to get better with their team, and to try and stick with the same team. I mean, fair enough, you could start a new team, and if Games Workshop put out the undead team at any point, is probably what I would do with my Chaos team. I'd retire him and start up an undead team. But yeah, we'll see. Who knows when Games Workshop are going to release the undead team? I have no clue. So yeah, so a couple of weeks time, I'm playing an Apocalypse game using my Chaos team. No, Chaos army, sorry, not my Chaos team. This is why I'm kind of back on painting them. I'm actually enjoying painting them as well, so it's been quite cool. I've got a big model as well that is in the process of being painted, which is a Lord of Skulls, and I need to get back to that at some point. I've got a week and a bit before before the game is anyway, so might get back to that. It might get finished before the game, it might not. It looks okay as it is. It's not fully finished, but it's got colour on it and stuff. So yeah, it's cool. So yeah, it's and I managed to get, I pre-ordered Adeptus Titanicus, which I know I probably shouldn't be spending money on models at the moment, but it was, I'd saved up for this for a while. It's we've known Titanicus was coming out for best part of 2 years now, and I've had money saved up for it, and to be honest, I didn't spend all the money that I had saved up for it, so it's fine. And I should get that next weekend. In fact, next Tuesday, rather than doing my sit and paint or rambles, sit and paint ramble thingy that I do, this thing, I may actually sit and build a Warlord Titan, but don't hold me to that. Right, so I'm just going to pop downstairs for a second. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back again, everyone. Sorry about that. It was being called from downstairs. So, carrying on with these Black Legion Chaos Marines. Need to put more paint on the palette, because I had to clean the palette before I went downstairs. Okay. Now we're just going to carry on. I can't remember what I was talking about, but anyway. I've got my nephew on Thursday now. We're going to Games Workshop. Spend some time in there painting, so it should be cool. Hopefully I haven't put him off too much. It's the my Harlequin's doing that, but we'll see. So yeah, it's cool. So the Blood Bowl League, like I was saying, we play a number of games and then play a cup. The number of games we're going to play is kind of up in the air, but we'll figure that out in the next couple of weeks, I reckon. So yeah, it's the club's going very well. We've got a tournament this weekend at the actual Conservative Club. It's a doubles thing. Unfortunately, I can't be there because of my work hours. Working Friday night, Saturday night, and it's Saturday during the day, so there's no chance I can be there. But it's in the capable hands of the other elders, so it should be fine. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I'm just painting the gold on these Black Legion Chaos Marines, like I was saying. See, the Chaos Space Marines are an army I started quite a while ago now, a few years ago, but I never really got stuck into them. I kind of just had some Chaos Marines, had a few Terminators, and I never really got that bothered about getting them painted and stuff like that until this year. At the start of the year, we were supposed to play a big Apocalypse game. It's supposed to be our club in Uxbridge versus the Watford club. And if you're in the UK, you may remember that it snowed quite a lot at the beginning of the year. So much so that it was actually best what we called the game off. Now they're trying to organise another one for later this year. The problem being it will be on a Saturday again, which at the moment Saturdays on my work days, so I probably won't be able to be there. It's a shame. I like the Apocalypse games, but I've played quite a few this year. When I say Apocalypse games, they're more just large games of 40k now, with multiple players. I think I've played 5 or 6 now this year, including 30k ones. So I've played a couple of 30k ones. So yeah, it's I'm okay missing them. If I can't be there, I can't be there. It's fine. But it would be nice to have an Apocalypse force fully painted. I mean, I don't think I have for any of my armies. But to be fair, like when 8th edition came around, Apocalypse lost a little bit of its charm for me, purely because you don't have the big formations in it anymore. So everything's just a squad or a character or whatever. It just feels like they've just pushed bigger games of 40k rather than Apocalypse. So it's not as appealing as it used to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like my big games of 40k, but Apocalypse kind of, okay, this was this formation and that was that formation, that kind of thing, you know. That's why I started collecting all those Necron warriors that I had, because the Apocalypse formation was 200 Necron warriors, and then they've done away with the Apocalypse formations. And I think Apocalypse is the one place where they should have formations, because in really massive games like that you would, you know, like I know you've got the brigades and the battalions and detachments and whatever in 40k, but it's not the same. It's just really not. So I think they could get away with putting formations in Apocalypse, which is originally the only place you could get them anyway. You never used to have formations in 40k until 7th edition, when everything was a formation. Like you very rarely took the combined arms detachment because it gave you no benefits. So yeah, I think they need to put time into an apocalypse. What should we call it? Expansion. That's it. Actually, put time into it. Make it a good expansion. Give each army its formations. I think that'd be really cool. Because apocalypse aren't an everyday thing in 40k. They're maybe a couple of times a year, stuff like that. Like I said, I've run 5 or 6 big games this year. We're gonna probably have another one next year. We might not have any. I just don't know. So I don't know how big Games of Apocalypse will run at the new club because of size limitations and all that kind of thing. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'm sure it'll work itself out eventually. So yeah, so I think I was saying before about Adeptus Titanicus. Basically, I was working Friday night, so Saturday morning when the pre-orders went up, I'd only had a few hours sleep, and I actually managed to wake up in time to get my pre-order in. I got a limited edition one as well, so I was quite happy with that. And I should get that on Sunday because it's out Saturday, but I'm working Saturday, Friday night, Saturday night. So the earliest time I can get it is Sunday. But and me and another guy were supposed to be having a first game on Monday at the club, which I'm hoping it will be all his stuff built, because I don't think I'm going to have time to get mine built till next week. I mean, I might be able to. Depends how long it takes to build a Warlord Titan. I mean, I've got Sunday, so I might be able to get it done. I just don't know. But yeah, there's going to be more stuff coming out for Titanicus as well, because it's going to be quite a big game by all accounts. No pun intended. And we've got a few people that are going to be getting it and interested in playing it, so yeah. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, it's the football season started again. I'm a fairly big Man U fan, and Man U beat Leicester on Friday night, which was a good start to the season. I haven't watched the highlights or anything. I've got it on my Virgin box, so I just haven't got around to it. Like, Sunday was my first day off, and I was asleep most of the day. Monday I was at the club all day, so yeah. But I'm sure I'll get to it. May even do it while this video is uploading. Just take that, skim through the highlights a little bit. Who knows? But I know I will be carrying on painting as well. So this is the thing. When I start, I want to carry on. Sometimes it takes me a while to actually get going. Like today, I was putting it off. It's like it's 4:45 now. Normally I'm done my video and it's uploading by now. When I was working at my old job, I would have left for work by now and it would be uploading while I was at work. So yeah, it's I like that I'm a lot more relaxed. I haven't got as much demand on my time now. And people have, like, I found out that one of the supervisors at the new place I'm working is someone I know. I knew him years and years ago from working at my old company. And he actually offered me a job on the spot. And I explained to him the situation, that I was just kind of getting myself back into the habit of working rather than actually diving in full. He understood. He knew what my old company was like, so he could understand where I was coming from, which is good. It's good when someone understands you sometimes. Most people don't understand me ever, but it's fine. That's number 3. We've got 2 more to do. And when I say 2 more to do, we probably need to do second layers on most of these as well, but we might not, because they've already got gold on them, so it might be okay. So yeah, so work's going okay. I mean, I've had the agency try to get me to work more days and to go in other places and stuff like that, and I'm reluctant to. I'm just, like I said a few weeks ago before I started work, I'm actually enjoying things. I'm enjoying myself. I'm living my life, although, you know, compared to other people, okay, I'm not out clubbing and dancing and whatever every weekend, getting drunk and getting stoned or whatever. I don't do that. But I'm enjoying doing this. I'm enjoying my hobby. I'm enjoying my family time. I'm enjoying my time in the shop with friends. You know, and like, I've not had this before for a long time. Like, fair enough, I know I haven't got a load of friends. I've got friends for the club, but I mean, like, the friends I grew up with, they're if you've been watching my videos now, you'll know all this. I've sprouted it so many times. They're either living far away, or I don't talk to them anymore, or something like that. And it, like I've said before, it's come into my head about getting in contact with people again. I don't know. It's been so long, they probably wouldn't want to know anyway. So it is what it is. You know, I'm such a different person now to when I was hanging around with them, that they got away with a lot towards me, and now I would call them out and I wouldn't have it. So I'm a lot stronger person. I know I've been through a bit, this and that, and anxiety and depression and whatever, but it's not, I'm not hung up on it anymore, you know. It's I'm in control, and I still worry about things. I mean, I worry about going to work, for example. I worry about what I'm going to do next week. I get nervous when I go to a club, which is weird because I've been doing it for 5 years. But it's a nervous. It's not a all-consuming anxiety anymore. It's just a bit of nerves of going out and interacting sometimes with people you don't know. That's all it is. So yeah, it's good as well, because I'm pushing myself, especially this new place. I mean, I've got talking to people, sometimes about the company that I've worked for before, because one of them was sounding me out about Siva. He wants to know what it's like working there, because he heard it was better than the place I'm working now. And the thing you've got to understand about air freight warehousing is you're never going to be important to the company in the jobs that we do. We are the scum of that do the hard work that no one else wants to do. And it sounds harsh, but that is what it is. We're not important, and if we decided to walk out, they'd just replace us. They wouldn't care, or not replace us, as the case that Siva was. But Siva's in the past now. I mean, I got rid of my remaining uniform last week, which was quite a good thing to do. I mean, it's still in my head. Would it be easy to just walk back in there and go back to my old job? Yeah, of course it would. Would they have it? Probably not. But who knows? They might. But do I want to do that? Hell no. Like I said, it could be the simple thing. I could go back to doing what I was doing. Go back to being the pissed off me that I was when I was working there. Or I can try and do something different. And trying to do something different, I think, is the best thing for me now. Because Siva ran its course. There wasn't a route to anything different. I was going to literally be stuck in that one job for the rest of my life if they had their way. So yeah, it was looking back at it now. What? It's 2.5 months on. It was probably the best decision I've made in the past 15 years. It was walking out on that job. I mean, it'd been coming. It'd been coming for a long time. So, yeah. So, something else was there when I was saying about depression and anxiety and stuff. And as much as getting out of Siva was a big step and was the thing that finally got me away from the depression and anxiety, it finally made me realise that how much that was. It wasn't the only thing that made me get through it. I mean, I've heard people say at the club, at a gaming club, about when you've got people who are socially awkward, and yeah, we've got a fair few of them doing our hobby, socially awkward people, but that's where our hobby comes into its own. It's basically when you walk into a place. I mean, I can remember my first ever time going down to Battlelux. The club had only been going a week or two at the time, and I didn't really know anyone. But I went down. I'd heard about it through the shop, so I knew people a little bit. And oh yeah, I was so nervous. But do you know what? Just that one time, and look at where I am now. I'm doing silly bloody YouTube videos. I'm helping people push their hobby to get paint stuff painted. I'm helping people learn the games, and I'm so happy with how much I've progressed in the past few years. But that first session, that first time I ever went into Battlelux, and you got to bear in mind as well, look, towards the the end at the Battle of Britain Club, we were hitting about 21, 22 people a night. When Battle Luck started, we were 45 to 50 people every Monday. So yeah, so it changed a bit, but the first, like, keep getting sidetracked. But the first session was two of the guys that helped start the club were learning Blood Bowl, and being me, up to that point I'd played Blood Bowl quite a bit. We used to have a little league going between me and my local friends. I think there was 4 of us in the league. But yeah, so I'd played like 50, 60 games of Blood Bowl, and I helped them learn the game. And that was my first session. I wasn't even playing, I was just helping people out. And it's what I enjoy doing now. I mean, going back to what I was saying about the beginner game that I did at the club yesterday, my big no-no is to never table the enemy when you're playing a beginner's game. The main idea you want to do is to try to let them win, so that it encourages their enthusiasm to want to play again. Luckily, I'm pretty sure they didn't kind of knock any of that, rather than me beating them like that. So they kind of picking up on some of the rules while me beating them. But yeah, so I wouldn't do that again. I wouldn't take Harlequins to a beginner game, and I know that now. So we finished the first layer of gold on them, and I know I haven't really painted much in this session. It seems like I never seem to get any painting done in this, but I do. Slow and steady wins the race, and getting armies painted isn't a race at all. But I am going to call the video there. Like I said, I'm going to carry on painting while the video is uploading and stuff, but I want to get this done. At the end of the day, what I want to say is, depression and anxiety is a bitch. It really is. And I know of people, friends and stuff, that are suffering from it now. And this is what helps me. All of these silly bits of plastic, or metal or resin, they just help me get away from those negative thoughts and feelings, because you're producing something. Like, for example, this guy was just painted black a couple of weeks ago. There was nothing to him, it was just undercoated black, and now he's a finished model, ready to go onto the tabletop and probably get killed. But that's not the point. You've produced something that, especially like when I took the my Necron army up to Warhammer World, and you had people that were like, wow, that looks so cool, and it's just like, it's such a good feeling, you know. But I am going to finish that there before I ramble on anymore. Thank you very much for listening and watching and listening to my ramble. I'm BIgFriendlyWarGamer, and Gareth to all of you out there who know me, and I will catch you soon. Goodbye.